This meeting of the Onslow County Board of Education will come to order. And before we begin on our wonderful business today, I would ask that you stand and face our flag and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right before we started and called the meeting to order, we were having a sidebar conversation with ourselves to look out and see all of you and how nice it really is to see you and to have you with us today. That includes our visiting team who was here to help us validate ourselves, and all of you who are in the audience that are administrators and teachers and support staff. We really do appreciate you taking your time to come and share with us today. I would ask that Miss Lisa Thompson come to the podium. I believe that she is going to have the wonderful honor of leading us today.
Thank you. Before I introduce our lead evaluator, I wanted to share that our Superintendent Rick Stout and our Associate Superintendent Dr. Leslie Eason are attending a Future Ready Digital District Summit in Raleigh right now, and both of them have been really involved in the accreditation process, and we're completely disappointed and excited to be involved in another continuous improvement opportunity, but sad that they weren't here for the oral exit report. Thankfully, with technology, we had them connected when we did the final exit report with Ms. Mickelson. Mary Mickelson, love her already. She's been with us a few days. She is a retired Indiana P-12 educator who currently lives in Indianapolis. A certified lead evaluator with Advanced Ed, Ms. Mickelson has chaired or co-chaired more than 80 Advanced Ed review teams in schools and districts in the United States, U.S. Department of Defense, schools both stateside and overseas, and international schools in the Middle East. While serving as the Indiana Director of School Accreditation, Ms. Mickelson spent 11 years in the role of State Superintendent's representative to the North Central Association State Committee. During this time, the State Committee supported the North Central Association Advanced Ed accreditation process as a complementary to the state accreditation, focusing on a single continuous improvement process rather than a once every 5 years event. Ms. Mickelson is an adjunct instructor for graduate education programs at Indiana Wesleyan University, where she teaches master's program courses and works with aspiring teacher candidates in the transition to teaching program. Additionally, she was part of the course writing team that created a brand new sequence of graduate level curriculum and instruction certification courses. It is my pleasure to turn the program over to our lead evaluator, Mrs. Mary Mickelson. Thank you.
And thank you all, first of all, for being here this afternoon and for being such gracious hosts and hostesses as we've shared your world for a few days. It's been wonderful to be here. And I'm not sure I recognize that person that Lisa just described. She's way too busy. The state of Indiana does think I retired in 2011, but I really believe in the work that Advanced Ed does. And so I say yes to as many opportunities as I can to be out and around with Advanced Ed accreditation processes. And it's been wonderful to be here. I never click the box and say yes until I go to a website for the district that I'm being invited to be part of. And when I clicked the box and got to the Onslow County Schools website, I thought, yes, this is where I want to be that week in February. I was in North Carolina that week last spring, winter, when it snowed. You know the one. The snow didn't get this far east, though, did it? Well, we sort of kind of got snowed in a little further west of here, out by Charlotte. But anyway, it's so good to be back in North Carolina, and we have had a wonderful 3 days with you all. You did the hard work. You did the heavy lifting. You have taken the look into the mirror and said, this is who we are in Onslow County Schools. You invited us in. We accepted your invitation to come and spend 3 very short days peeking through the window. I'm going to share with you this afternoon a PowerPoint presentation that is a very, very brief, small part of our full report. I will tell you that our full report is not written yet. I have all the notes and all the input from these 6 wonderful people who are representing the rest of our team today. And I will finish writing that report. I submit it in assist. It's reviewed at least twice, and you will receive that back electronically in 4 or 5 weeks, the full report. They're usually around 45 pages. Some of that is the research base for accreditation and effective schooling. Some of that is our actual findings and the information that we have prepared to add to that report. So this is just a brief overview, if you will, of our full report. So we are an 8-member team. And the lead is always from out of state, and the associate lead is always from in-state. And Selma Allen is our in-state associate lead. And Selma, I'm going to let you tell them where you're from, because I forgot.
Scotland.
Okay. And then Logan, Logan is another one of our team members who is from out of state.
I'm from the Salt Lake City area in northern Utah.
Okay. Yep.
Susan Bullock, Wilson, North Carolina.
Okay.
Emily Marsh, I'm from White Epic Road, Highway 24 at Fort Bragg. Hi, I'm Kathy Whitman, and I work with National County Public Schools.
Okay.
I'm Scott Jason, headmaster of the Country Prep in Pawleys Island, South Carolina.
Okay. And I will tell you that our other team member was looking at an 8-hour drive back to Florida, so we let her leave early. One of the things that we know that you do here is flex time, so we flexed her time. And then I will also tell you that, and this will allow us to skip one of the slides later on, we had a brief meeting on Sunday afternoon when we got acquainted as people and began to do our discussions about the information you had already provided to us. We had a longer meeting on Monday night. We finished by a little after 8 on Monday night, starting at 5 o'clock when we got back from school. And last night we began meeting again at about 5 o'clock, and we finished about 9:15. So we flexed our time this week. So we allowed her to leave early today. So we are a team of 8. We've been able to gather a lot of information, but we don't know nearly as much as you do. So when you get our final report, you're going to go, they didn't mention them. Well, we didn't see it and y'all didn't tell us about it, and that's okay. You're also going to notice that they didn't mention them. You know the ones, right? Well, we weren't here when those happened either, and you didn't tell us about them. So it's a balance. Okay? It's a balance. Because we know that we can't see the whole picture. So what you're going to see on the screen now is the same PowerPoint presentation, the same basic slides that any school, any district, anywhere in the world is seeing on this last day of their external review. And I apologize, it's either black or white, and it wasn't looking good either way. So this is what we have, are the white print on the darker background. So you have a copy of this. Lisa has it. She'll be sharing it out. Advanced Ed is an international organization. It is the largest school accreditation organization in the world. You are part of a global footprint, and we know that fits with part of what you do here. The global footprint reaches into East Asia, it reaches into the Middle East, it reaches into Central South America, and is beginning to have a presence in Northern Africa. So you are part of a global organization, and that's a very, very good thing. How many of you volunteered a lot of time to put that live binder together? Come on, let me see your hands. Yep, you volunteered a lot of time to do that. We are all of us volunteers. There is some paid staff at Advanced Ed in Alpharetta, Georgia, and out in Tempe, where it's warm today, but that's the way it works. But most of us in this organization are volunteers. And the whole point is to build capacity among ourselves and to give you some ideas to think about. You make the decisions about what goes on in Onslow County, North Carolina. You decide what are the best ways to do things. We just give you our insights and share with you some ideas. There are 3 things that are off the table. You will see nothing, you will hear nothing today, you will see nothing in our full report about finances, facilities, or personnel. We don't deal with money. Those are your decisions to make. We will also not tell you, go out and do this specific program, because if you do, it'll solve all the problems of the world. That's not our job. Our job is to give you some ideas to think about as you move forward to the next place in continuous improvement. Right now, you're here. Remember back in 3rd grade when we learned that a line has arrows on the end because it never ends? That's continuous improvement. A person, an institution, a school, a factory, whatever, can only be where that institution is. And that's okay. As long as we know where we're going and we've got some idea about how we're going to get there. We found out that not only do you know where you're going, but you already have some plans about how you're going to move in that direction. So we celebrate that with you. We'll do that formally in a minute. We've been here to do 3 things: to listen and learn. In the official language of Advanced Ed, the word is interview. And when you all hear the word interview, do you sit up straighter? So, yes, we had some interviews on our schedule, but we listened and learned a lot, particularly on Monday. There were several people who shared, lots of people, not just several, shared with us presentations. We saw presentations in the schools we visited yesterday. We listened and learned a lot while we were here this last 3 days. We also observed children in 8 schools yesterday. There is no way possible, even though we would like to visit all of your schools while we are here. But we visited 8. We observed children engaged in learning. We did not observe teachers in an evaluative mode, not our job. So we listen and learn, we observed children engaged in learning, and we did look at a lot of artifacts. We looked at a lot of forms and a lot of notebooks and a lot of information that was posted as e-files in the Life Binder and on your website. So we had opportunity to see a lot of good information to help us make our decisions. We had discussions, I shared with you about those, and we did make some decisions, and those are in our findings. Our findings basically have 2 parts. We did a rating for each one of the indicators and each one of the standards. Sound familiar? We did the same set of ratings for the same set of indicators in the same set of 5 standards that you did out in your schools and at the system level. We also rated the 4 criteria related to student performance and the 2 criteria related to the stakeholder feedback survey data that you got. So we made the same kinds of ratings that you all rated, 4, 3, 2, or 1, and provided evidence. So it's the same process we used. And I'm going to share some of those findings with you this afternoon. We interviewed, talked with, listened to, shared with 414 people. And I'm not going to read all these numbers to you. You can read them yourselves. We were very privileged to be able to talk with 102 students. We never had an official interview time with students. We talked to 102 students in 8 schools yesterday as there was an opportunity in their classroom. We never interrupted instruction. Be assured of that. But if children were working in small groups or in pairs, we would ask them what it is that they were working on and ask them to share with us about what they were doing, how they were using the one-to-one, how they were working in a group, what were they working on, what kinds of learning were they engaged in. So we are very privileged that we were able to interact with 414 people while we were here. You know, when you made those ratings, there were 5 standards. Purpose and direction, vision and mission, leadership capacity, teaching and learning, resource utilization, and data to inform instruction and programming. Those are the 5 standards. Advanced Ed has organized those into 3 domains. And these are the 3 domains. What is the impact of teaching and learning? Standards 3 and 5, and the student performance data. The capacity that you all as leaders have, and the way you share that leadership among yourselves and among other people in the district and in the community. That's standards 1, 2, and the stakeholder feedback survey information. The 3rd domain is the use of resources. That's everything from when the grass gets cut, how maintenance requests are managed, how it is that as a teacher I can request materials for my classroom. It's personnel. How do you make those decisions? It's the one-to-one initiative you have and how you've built that plan for phasing that one-to-one initiative in over the years. So its use of resources very, very broadly defined. We are offering you, based on our professional judgment and the discussions we've had, based on what we've learned, we are offering you 5 powerful practices. A powerful practice, this is my definition, not the official one. The powerful practice is a wow. Get on an airplane from the state of Wyoming, where you have to transfer 2 or 3 times, and come to Jacksonville, North Carolina, to come to Onslow County schools and see what's happening. That's a wow. A wow is a get on the plane and come and visit. And we're offering you 5 of those. We're celebrating with you. We're offering you 1 opportunity for improvement. An opportunity for improvement almost always supports, focuses on something that a district has already identified. And in fact, in Onslow County, our 1 opportunity does just that. It supports something you're already doing. So also does the improvement priority. The improvement priority, we're only offering you 1, and we're offering you 1 because we are required to. Every school, every system, anywhere in the world that hosts an external review will get 1 improvement priority at least. The one we have chosen for you, and we don't have a list to choose from, the one we have chosen for you, again, it supports something you already do, and it's something you already do pretty well. So it's a way to extend something that you already have in place. So 5 powerful practices, 1 opportunity, and 1 improvement priority. You must address the improvement priority. The opportunity for improvement, you can look at and go, yeah, we're already doing that. We'll keep doing what we're doing. And that's okay. The improvement priority, you must show substantive and meaningful progress within 2 years. But again, you're not going to have any problem with, take my word for it, you're not going to have any problem with it because you're already doing it. Oops, sorry. So the first domain is to what? Judy, right? Can I tell our story, Judy? I don't use one of these very often. Judy got the new technology on Monday. She got the ring. She'll tell you the rest of the story. Okay, the first domain is teaching and learning. And again, that is standards 3, 5, and the student performance data. The first slide in this domain is about the classroom observations that we did yesterday. We use a process and a form, paper form, digital form, to rate indicators in 7 different areas. And you can see the 7 different areas up here. What I will tell you that you need to kind of peek at the column on the right, because those are the average ratings for those 7 areas for every system that hosted a visit last school year in 13-14. That's the right column. Take a look, because yours are in the middle. And what do you see? They're what? They are higher. They are all higher except one that's just a teeny bit. Yeah, just a teeny bit below. But otherwise, they're all at or higher than last year's average. Now, when you look down the list, where do your eyes naturally go?
The lowest number.
What?
The lowest number.
The lowest number. Digital learning, I will tell you that in every school I've ever been in, with an external review, every district I've ever been in for an external review, eyes go to the bottom of the list. Because digital learning is always, always lower. I've never seen it not be the lowest rating on the list. And you can look at last year's averages. Yours is well above last year's average. Be proud of that number, that 2.16 in digital learning, because that is higher than I've ever seen anywhere else. And I'm not messing with you. And Selma is also a lead evaluator, and she's up here shaking her head, yeah, well, I've never seen one that high. That is a high number, even though if you look at it on a range from 1 to 4, it doesn't look like a very high number. We know that you have begun to work on the digital transition. You've begun to implement the one-to-one. We know that you are making strides in digital learning. That's why that number is so much higher than it is for the average for last year. So celebrate that number, and it's okay that it's not at a 3 yet, because it's going to be. And it's going to be sooner rather than later because you have that plan for moving forward with your digital initiatives. And that's a good thing. Because you know where you are, you've got some plans for where you're going, you know how you're going to move forward. Okay? So, those are the classrooms. We visited 82 classrooms and 8 buildings yesterday, and we thank you for that opportunity. Those of you principals who hosted us yesterday, it was wonderful to be in your building. And those of you who are from buildings that we didn't get to visit yesterday, we know that you're doing good things too, and we saw some of those things represented in the schools where your colleagues are. So just know that as much as we would like to, 8 people can't be in 36 places. Here's the first of 5 powerful practices. The system provides programs and practices that promote global awareness and understanding of diverse cultures for all learners, students, parents, and teachers. It's all about the global perspective. And it doesn't matter whether I'm a learner who's not 16 years old anymore or whether I'm a learner who is 6. We saw yesterday firsthand that focus on global awareness and 21st century skills. The second powerful practice is about the use of time. Time is one of the resources. We chose to put this powerful practice in teaching and learning rather than resource utilization. You'll also see it noted in the full report in resource utilization because we know that time is precious, it is a resource, and you are managing it well. The thing is, that management that happens at the building level, time is being managed in a way that best meets the needs of students. It's not about a bell schedule, though it is. And it's not about everybody being someplace because everybody has to be someplace, though it is. It's about knowing what students need, again, whether they're 6 or 16, knowing what they need and providing the time for them in ways that work best for them. So this is about time for students, and that collaborative time that you have as adults in your PLCs to do the data analysis, to talk about curriculum, to talk about instruction. We put all those words in here and decided it was too many words. You will see them in the descriptive statement. So just know that we appreciate the way that you approach time as a resource. Magnanimous mentors. I've got to tell you that Magnanimous Mentors is a project that somebody here needs to write up and get published, and it is replicable. So this is a different kind of powerful practice. It is a single, specific program. It's not huge like using time. This is very specific. But the fact that Magnanimous Mentors are working with at-risk youth, that's a powerful practice from our perspective. We're offering you one opportunity for improvement. And again, this one is grounded in something you already do and do well. You're using communication efforts, a lot of them, print and non-print, and meetings and focus groups. You have a lot of communication efforts in place, but organize that somehow under a single communication plan. that can be posted wherever. It says, these are the ways we communicate out. Here are some opportunities for people to come and talk to us, some formal opportunities, some informal opportunities, so that that plan is all available in one place at one time. This is not huge, because you're already doing the hard part. So that's the opportunity for improvement. The second domain is leadership capacity. That's standards 1, 2, and the data that you have from the stakeholder feedback surveys. We're offering you a powerful practice in this domain as well. It is that leaders and staff members, from the classroom to the boardroom to community partnerships, foster a culture that is consistent with the system's purpose and direction. We didn't just hear people talk about the vision and mission, we saw it in action. And I frankly don't care whether people can tell me the words or recite it. I want to know that people are living the vision and the mission. And when somebody or somebodies tell me, we've had a vision and a mission for a long time, we've even had goals. We decided, though, that we need a purpose. And sometimes I think we forget that our colleagues in other professional areas, and we are professionals, that our colleagues in other professionals have lessons we can learn, and that when you all looked at the medical model for that cardiac center, their purpose is to save lives. Their vision and mission are something related to that, but the purpose is to save lives. And your purpose is to support student learning. That's not the exact words, but that's what you're about. So we celebrate that with you. We're also offering you the one improvement priority in the domain that is leadership capacity. We know that you have a very, very powerful strategic leadership philosophy and set of practices. We know that there is a structure whereby decisions are made based on input, but there are some decisions that are made at the district, at the system level, and they come through a set of filters, and they get to the school building level, where different sets of decisions are made, and then there is another set of filters, and they get to the classroom, where classroom teachers and other classroom adults who have responsibilities in the classroom, where those people have the responsibility, and you have tasked them to make classroom level decisions. And part of that starts right here at the board, because you allow your hired leader to make the decisions that he needs to make, and you have policies in place that guide those decisions. But then you allow your superintendent and your other system-level leaders the autonomy to make the decisions that they need to make to implement your policies. So it starts here, and it starts at this table, but it also comes through those other filters. And not only do your teachers and other adults in the classroom have leadership responsibilities, so do your students. We saw students in transition yesterday who were demonstrating leadership skills because they were responsible for their own behavior. They knew what was expected during transitions, and they could get that done. That may not sound like leadership, but that's a leadership skill that they're beginning to learn as young as 5 or 6. Celebrate and articulate the things that you're already doing. Articulate. Write down, create a graphic organizer, make a poster, whatever it is, you decide the way that you're going to articulate. But organize all those different structures in some way that helps people understand this is what happens at the board level. Here's what happens under the district umbrella. Here's what happens through those other committees and councils. Here's what happens then at the building level. Site-based management lives in Onslow County. I don't know that y'all call it that, right? In Kentucky, there's a state law that requires site-based management. Y'all aren't doing that kind of site-based management. You have released leadership for building-level decisions to your building-level leaders, right down into the classroom. Just articulate that. Just organize that package in written words, in pictures, in graphics, in some kind of combination. You decide what the way to do that is. So again, you've done the heavy lifting. In 2 years, you need to be able to demonstrate in a written report in assist, here's how we're approaching this improvement priority. And this is not a heavy improvement priority. I've been in districts where we have had to look at the 7 improvement priorities and decide which 4 were the most important. I'm telling you, you guys can close your ears. I'm telling you, we had to search to decide on an improvement priority because this already happens. But the advanced ed requirement is that we have 1. So this is no, I won't say that. I was going to say it's our gift to you, but who's looking at this going, that ain't no gift? But you're already doing this. Just formalize it in some way. Okay? The third domain is resource utilization. And again, I shared with you sort of what that is earlier on. You model as a system. You model and encourage the efficient, responsible, and creative resource management to maximize teaching and learning. Did we ever have a really fun time figuring out those adjectives? Because we could only use 3. You know, anything more than 3 becomes too many. But we had a really good time thinking about which were the best adjectives there. So this is the last of the 5 powerful practices that we offer you, and then we will move on to the next steps. They're called conclusions here, but you're going to look at the first 3 bulleted items here: teaching and learning, leadership capacity, and resource utilization. You're going to look at our findings when you get the full report, and you're going to use that as a tool for your own formative assessment as you move through the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, because you're in a process that doesn't begin and it doesn't end. I will tell you that there was a slide in this PowerPoint that I took out. And I took the slide out because it says, this is the beginning of a journey. I don't think so. The journey started somewhere back in, when did Onslow Public Schools begin? Or Onslow School District? Anybody know the year? Long time ago. It's been around for a long time. You've been on this journey. This is not the beginning of a journey. This is a place along the way. So I took that slide out. It's about connecting the conditions for learning. That's everything. That's facilities, it's everything. The processes and the practices so that you can be able to identify and produce, but to disseminate the evidence that student performance is increasing. And we saw some of those data as we were here. The IEQ results. When we rated all of those indicators and all of those standards, ASSIST does an arithmetic calculation. It adds them all up for us. And again, I would ask for you to look at the right-hand column first, because those are the numbers from all of the systems that hosted an external review in 13-14 school year. Now look at those numbers. They're pretty good. They're on a 400 scale. When ASSIST adds and averages our ratings, they multiply by 100 to get rid of the decimal. And yet there are still decimals there. So it's on a scale that goes from 100 to, that's what they tell us to say. Go figure. It's on a scale from 100 to 400. High 200s, those are pretty good scores. Now where are yours? The overall score is the pure arithmetic average of all the ratings for all the indicators and all the standards, as well as the 4 indicators in student performance data and the 2 indicators for the stakeholder feedback criteria. Everything is a 318, almost a 319 on a 400 scale. This is when the cheerleaders should come in with their pom-pom. And again, Selma, I'm going to ask you, do you see overalls that high often? No. These are unusually high numbers. And I'll tell you what, we didn't say, you know, the system rated themselves a so I'm going to rate them a Or they rated themselves a I wonder why they did that. We're going to rate them No, we looked at the ratings one time. We did not go back and say, they rated themselves a 3, therefore I'm going to rate them a 3. We didn't do that. We made our ratings independent from yours, We made our ratings in relationship to the indicators in the standards. That's how we made those ratings. And we made those ratings based on the information that you shared with us in the Live Binder and other forms and files that you shared with us, in our observations yesterday, and in all that information that we learned in our Listen and Learns. So that's how we made our ratings. And these are ratings to be very, very proud of. Now, they're on a scale from 100 to 400. And right now, you're at a 320 almost. Celebrate that. And know that we all know that the closer you get to the ends of the array, the harder it is to make progress. You will make progress by addressing that improvement priority. In 2 years, this IEQ score could go up. Could go down, but I don't think it will be going down because that's not who you are. So take a look at that improvement priority, figure out what you're going to do with it, and you'll be able to see that in 2 years that IEQ can change. Okay. Based on those IEQ numbers that are all above 300, the school system is performing within the acceptable ranges when compared to the expected criteria as well as other institutions in the advanced ed network. Now, the next slide is the only one that matters. And I don't usually have to read that one. People usually read that one. Our job as a team is to make recommendation to the Accreditation Commission of Advanced Ed. This is our recommendation. It was a unanimous recommendation, no question, that we are as a team recommending accreditation for Onslow County Schools. The commission meets in January and June. This recommendation will be on their June agenda. Typically, they meet near the end of the month, so you're going to hear something in the middle of the summer, which is not opportune time for educators, but it'll be a time to celebrate nonetheless. So the improvement priorities, you have to do it within 2 years and continuing the journey of improvement. And it is about every child, every day, in every way, and you all are living that. It is about meeting the needs of each child, every child, providing what each child needs, and also providing what the adults who work with those children need in order to do their very best work to help children maximize their learning. So we thank you very, very much for the hospitality. Fairfield Inn has been a wonderful place to be. They have treated us well, and Leslie and her folks, where's Angela? Have provided, I enjoy having local suppers and local lunches. You know, I can go to McDonald's about any time. So they have treated us to some locally favorite foods, so we appreciate that. And we congratulate you on the work that you've done to get prepared for this visit, and it's an important time. I don't mean to downplay that at all. It is an important time, but it is not the be-all and end-all. What you do all day, every day, is what matters, and that's happening. And then I will also ask a quick question. How many of you had little children at your home at one time or another? And when they learn to wave, they usually wave about the time the visitor gets to the end of the block, right? And it's this way, yeah. It is okay to stand at the door and wave us by. Because I dare say there is not one person in the room who is not ready to say, phew. It has been wonderful to be with you, and again, we appreciate the privilege to share your world for 3 very, very quick, fast-moving days. We've learned a lot. We hope we are leaving you with some insights that will be helpful to you on your journey. So thank you very, very much.
Dr. Collins?
Wow. What a great presentation. I'm just sad that Dr. Easton couldn't be here. She has been our cheerleader on this endeavor. She's spent a lot of time and effort on that, and when you mentioned cheerleader, I envisioned her coming through the curtains, waving her hands, but it didn't happen today. So, but we certainly want to give her a lot of credit for getting everything together for us. Madam Chair, members of the board, Ms. Mickelson and the review committee, on behalf of the Onslow County Board of Education, students, staff, parents, community members, we want to let you know that we appreciate what you've done. It's been a pleasure and an honor to host this accreditation team this week. I want to personally apologize for not being with you on Monday. My presence was needed elsewhere that day, but I do apologize for that, and I missed the welcome to our great county. I know we haven't spent much time together, but the little time that we have spent together, my colleagues and I feel a sort of kinship with you, and I know that you may not realize this or not, but we hope that you do. You are a part of our Onslow family, and we appreciate you. As you have certainly indicated, we are extremely proud of our school system and its accomplishments. Having achieved ratings above average is something that I'm not surprised about, actually. Knowing the quality of employees that we have, the quality of students and parents and school board members that are involved in this great system. This entire process has provided us an opportunity for all to reflect upon our practices and procedures, to celebrate our accomplishments, and to make adjustments in areas of needed improvement. Your expertise and your professional insight into this process is recognized, and it adds tremendous value to whom we are and to where we are going in the future. We look forward to receiving your final report, and if there's anything that you need from us in the way of additional information, please know that our staff stands ready to help in that endeavor as well. Thank you again for your time away from your own families to be here with us, and your dedication to education. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you. At this time, I would entertain if any of the board would like to say a short word or two. You have an opportunity, and I say short because I know that these people have planes to catch and rides to get elsewhere. They say silence is golden. I think they're overwhelmed, and on behalf of the board and everyone here in this room, thank you for this process. It is moving us forward. And Mrs. Mickelson, I will tell you, we know where we are and we know where we're headed. Thank you again. I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Any comments or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye, and we are adjourned.